Hello everyone, my name is Marek Rudak, and my goal with this video is to simplify men's relationships. Simplify men's relationships. Kind of a hefty goal, right? How am I going to do that? Well, I'll do it by doing two things. I'll share with you a series of my experiences, and then I'll also bring in a quote, and hopefully by the end it all makes sense and you'll get something out of it. So 2 weeks ago, I went to my brother's graduation in California. And as any graduation goes, there were speakers, handshakes, claps, you name it. But as I was reflecting on what the speaker said today, I'll be honest with you, I couldn't remember. And there's nothing wrong with the speakers; they're fantastic. They accomplished a lot. It just didn't really connect to me. And who knows? It was by design. It was meant for the students, and where I am in life, it's not really meant to be for me. So, but then I thought, is like, well, what did my graduation speaker say back in high school, back in college? In high school, guys, I was clueless. It was just about 4 years after I moved to the United States. I had no idea what to expect, what it was gonna be like. I was told to show up, wear this thing, you get a diploma. That's what I did, and that's pretty much all I remember, other than the pictures that I have in my album. In my college, it was a little bit different. By that time, I was in the United States for quite some time. My English was a lot better, so I knew what to expect. And my graduation speaker was none other than a sitting president, George W. Bush. But that was post 9/11, pre-Iraq George W. Bush. So back then he was super popular. Everybody was in love with him. And again, I'm sure he said fantastic things, but maybe because it was a big day and he was a president, I was more focused on shaking his hand. Again, I don't really know what he said. But that made me wonder. It was like, hey, if I could go back in time, what would I say to myself on my college graduation that I think would have had the biggest impact on my life? What would that be for you? In my case, as I reflected on it, I really came across this really cool quote by Garth Brooks recently who said, "You aren't wealthy until you have something money can buy." Again, you aren't wealthy until you have something money can buy. What's a good example of that? Well, in my opinion, obviously I'm biased, it's relationships. Relationships is something money can buy. You can't really buy a relationship. You can buy a transaction, you can buy a service, but a true relationship, no, money can help, but it can buy that. And I believe, and let me know your thoughts, that one of the best ways to build a relationship is by giving selflessly. The more selfless you give, the more quality relationships you will build. That is my opinion. Let me know what your thoughts are, but that's what I found is most helpful in my life. But then I think about myself back then. What was I, 21 years old? 21 years old when I was singing these bleachers. If you told me to give selflessly, to me, my thoughts would lead to, well, go on some kind of a mission trip, volunteer, some kind of set times, some kind of set opportunities to give back. And I did that, but the problem with that is that mission came first, and only when I had some time, then I would volunteer. In other words, as a typical guy, I would compartmentalize my life. Hey, this is my work, and if I have some available time, I'll volunteer, work, volunteer. And obviously I did volunteer, but it was just more of an exception. And because there were so many other things going on, I just could rarely squeeze in those moments to volunteer. So what I was thinking is, well, wouldn't there be some kind of a simple habit that would help me give more? And it just kind of hit me this morning as I was in the gym doing my pull-ups. What if I told myself to look other people in their eyes when I talk to them? And maybe because I'm a shy kid, I never really did that a lot. But even nowadays, when I look in people's eyes, I don't really see people looking back at me into my eyes. It makes people uncomfortable. And hey, no judgment, because I was there and I'm still sometimes there. But here's the thing. I really believe that looking in people's eyes is super simple advice, a little bit harder to follow, but it's super impactful. Here's why. When you look in people's eyes, you tell them that your time with them matters. You're giving them your full attention. That helps building that relationships. It's a small thing, but it's a tremendous thing to the other person. In fact, I remember when I was at Exxon, typically a manager, you could judge how much attention your manager is giving to you by how much eye contact you get. Because in other words, if the manager is looking at the papers or looking at his phones, it's whatever you're saying is not hitting. And that was just crushing to me, and I'm sure you experienced that in corporate America. But imagine if you gave that attention to every single person you came across. And another benefit of looking people in the eyes is that what I found is that when I have a hard time looking people in their eyes, it's because I'm not comfortable. And typically I'm not comfortable because I really maybe don't believe what I'm saying or something's off. And so whenever I have a hard time looking people's eyes, nowadays, it's a good opportunity to evaluate, hey, what's missing? Why am I not comfortable looking people's eyes? For example, back when I was in corporate America, I wasn't really comfortable because the stuff that I said, not that it was a lie, but it didn't drive me. I wasn't really passionate about it. And to me, it was always such an effort to say these things. And so the reason why I mention looking in people's eyes is because when you feel uncomfortable, it's a good opportunity to figure out what it is. And so what I found is that I was actually much better communicated than I thought once I started communicating the things I was passionate about. And, look at me, here I am on Facebook, fearing something that I would have never done when I first started. So my friends, what is that one thing that you wish you heard in your graduation speech that would have made the most impact? Let me know what that is. And if you don't know what that is or you're struggling, consider looking people in the eyes. Because what you find is the more you look people in the eyes, you build that connection. And if you have a hard time doing it, it will help you understand what it is. And once you make that adjustments, it will make all the difference. I hope this video provides you guys value. God bless you. Talk to you soon. Share and subscribe. And I'll see you next week on Monday. Bye.